All right, let's get started. This is Undrafted Hockey Fan. It's our first time using our new like full pink and blue. Like I just built this today, so it's kind of fun. Honestly, it's a little different than I'm used to. I'm trying a different platform. I'm going through StreamYard, so this will be a little rough, but I'm excited you guys get into this. If you haven't checked out the YouTube version, you're more than welcome to. But if you're not, if you're just listening to audio, well, welcome. Like I said, we're excited to go into this. So let's get started then. So we are going to go through NHL news. A couple of things we go through the Broberg and Holloway offer sheets, also the subsequent trade before and trade afterwards, and why this is consequential and why the Oilers would allow the Blues to do this, as well as there's a trade where Rucker McGroarty finally got that trade taken care of. A crazy goalie, the number one NHL goalie prospect, was traded as well. A certain Seattle Kraken got traded. Matty Beniers got traded. He had to sign a contract. Oh, goodness gracious! Imagine if he got traded. Woo, that would be tough on Seattle. But anyways, then you have Cole Sillinger as well signing a contract. So a couple of things we're just going to knock out. Let's get the big guys out of the way. We are, again, if you're on watching YouTube, here you can see it. But we are talking about the first trade that was made with the St. Louis Blues and the Penguins, which didn't make sense really at the time. But we're looking at it right here. We have a 2025 the St. Louis Blues acquiring a 2025 second-round pick and a 2026 fifth-round pick from the Penguins for a 2026 second-round pick and a 2025 third-round pick. So it looks like the Blues end up losing the trade in the sense of that they took on a second-round pick, they got back a second-round pick, so that those cancel out, and basically they just traded a third for a fifth, basically. So, and the only thing that differs were the years. And the reason they did this is because they wanted to do an offer sheet with Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg of the Edmonton Oilers, who were both RFAs, who were not signed, who were looking to come in relatively cheap. And that's what the Oilers were looking at. I mean, but I understand because these guys did not have contracts yet. And so the Oilers were like, man, we're on a contending team, sign a cheap contract, and we will take you to the Stanley Cup. Didn't work out that way. So the reason they're like, well, listen, we want to make some money. We want to make some money. And so they both signed, my apologies, 2-year contracts with 2-year offer sheets with the St. Louis Blues. We're seeing one with Dylan Holloway signing, and then the numbers, and I'm going to read the numbers because it's very particular. And I'll tell you why in a second. So Dylan Holloway signs a contract for $2,290,457. And the reason, if it was $1 more, it would cost the St. Louis Blues a second-round pick to offer sheet them. So the reason we can do offer sheets is because these kids are RFAs, restricted free agents, which means that the Oilers hold the rights. And if anyone else wants to try and sign them, that what they have to do is they end up have to owe the team that owns the rights a draft pick based on how much they want to pay them. So because Dylan Holloway is being offered this $2.29 million, if it was offered $1 more more, so since they're offering that and he accepted, he is going to get the Oilers are going to get a third-round pick because of this. If they decide not to match it, right? So the Oilers have to match this contract that the Blues offered, right? Because it's a pro player, and it says offer sheets are pro player because it gets the player to get the most amount of money that he wants, right? Clearly, Dylan Holloway wouldn't sign a contract of that for the Oilers. It's too expensive, and because the extra for 2 years, in that second year, you're gonna have people like, I don't know, Leon Draisaitl being needed a huge contract. He's probably gonna come in around $13.5 million over 8 years. Bet my word on it. And then Bouchard as well, who's going to come in. He'd be crazy expensive for how well he played this past playoff. So, I mean, I don't see a way that you can actually sign someone like Dylan Holloway for 2 years. And same with Broberg. Broberg getting $4,580,917. Again, if it was $918, that one extra one, it would have cost them even more. The Oilers even more. It would cost the St. Louis Blues even more to take Broberg, but it only cost him a second-round pick, and again, it's over 2 years. So to me, both Dylan Holloway making the $2.29 million and Broberg making the $4.58 is a little high. It is high, but you're getting you're getting 2 first-round picks for a second and a third-round pick. Like, it just makes sense to make these bets on these kind of guys. And there was some discussions about This being because if Ken Holland was GM, Doug Armstrong would make these moves, but Stan Bowman instead, who had the huge scandal with the Chicago Blackhawks in the Kyle Beach issue. And Doug Armstrong did come out and say, he said, "Hey, if my mother was the GM, I would still make this deal." And I disagree. I do. I think he said the right things. He said he did look at the Blues, and he's in favor of the Blues and making them the best team that they can. And I don't disagree with that aspect of it. But I think Edmonton was in a vulnerable position. I think it was a very smart move, but I don't know necessarily if he would do it because we haven't seen offer sheets like this before, right? So I just kind of have a little bit of doubt there. But anyways, but again, it's huge because the reason you do this is the reason this doesn't happen as often is because it can't upset GMs, right? We saw with the Montreal Canadiens and the Carolina Hurricanes. Montreal tried to offer sheet. Was it Sebastian Svechnikov or Aho? One of the two. Didn't work. Canes are like, nope, we'll match that. No problem. And then Canes are like, just to be bitter, we're going to offer sheet. I could say, what is his name? Starts with a K. I can't think of it offhand. So anyways, but they, Kakiniemi, and he did accept it. And they did get a first round pick and a third round pick from the Canes for taking Kakiniemi. So they paid over for him as well, like $6 million for 1 year. But again, I thought this was really smart. I really I would like to see more offer sheets. I think, mind you, I'm a Red Wings fan, like first off, so I don't want to see him for Raymond and Seider, although it would be crazy for like Seider to get like a $10 million contract and then suddenly Red Wings get like 3 or 4 first round picks back. It's just like, it's like the amount that it costs to steal a player, it's just crazy, but it is kind of exciting. It's a lot of fun. It's nerve wracking, but it is very cool. So I'm a big fan of this. And the other part is that you have the Oilers had 7 days to try and figure out if they wanted to keep these players or not. And what happened is, I think there's a discussion between the Blues and the Oilers, and it's like, listen, we can't let you have these two guys for 2 or 3 years, or for a second and third round pick. And we don't want to have to match these things, but we will because we value the players. And I think basically Stan Bowman was like, listen, you got to give us something more than just the second round, third round pick. I think it'd be a win-win for us, win-win for both parties if you send us something. So they end up sending Paul Fisher. I'm unaware. I think I heard he's a fifth round pick from, I think, 2023, I think, and a third round pick in 2028, which is crazy. It's 2024 right now. And there's this guy. This guy is 19 years old, a fifth round pick. Let's see what his stats say. So not in the NHL. We're going to go to the U18s. He had 1 point in 7 games. In the NTDP for the U18s, he had 21 points in 56 games. Again, he's a defenseman, so he's not, I mean, even in juniors, he's a guy. It's just a little extra guy that the Oilers are getting, and they get an additional third round pick. So basically, you're getting Philip Broberg and Dylan Holloway for a fifth round pick, player, 2 third rounders, and a second rounder. Like, worth it. You pay too much for them. But really, Blues are rebuilding right now, so you get these guys at the value, overpay them a little bit right now, kind of figure out if you'd like to keep them. And it's really like, for a second, third round pick, these are worth it. Absolutely worth it for these guys. So big fan of this. I really like that. That was a ton of fun. I think again, you're doing this because you're also, the reason the Blues did this again is that Oilers were in a bad position. They were up against salary cap. And so they were going to need to sign Leon Draisaitl next year because he has 1 year left. And they're going to need to sign, what's his face? Evan Bouchard. And they did this, and they offered him Dylan Holloway and Broberg 2 years because they knew they would put the Edmonton Oilers in a bind. And they could have taken these guys and then moved other guys. And by the way, the Edmonton Oilers did move other guys. Like, they did. If we go to the Edmonton Oilers, they made other trades. If we go down to, let's see, where are the transactions? Whoop. Missing it. So they made other transactions to try and get this to happen. Let me scroll down. But anyways, they ended up trading Cody Ceci and a third round pick for Ty Emberson. made some moves. And crazy enough, they actually in the same thing, they acquired Ville Podkolzin for a 4th-round pick for the Vancouver Canucks. They took on money. So like, I mean, it's a little crazy, like to me, that this happened this way, because it's like, oh, okay, you're taking on a guy you bought, which is, I mean, again, it could be a smart play. Let's see what Ville Podkolzin did. I mean, if we check out his stuff, he only had 2 points in 19 games. He was a 10th overall pick in 2019. So if you go to the 2019 draft, I'm curious now. If you go to 2019 draft, I bet you, let's see, I think was that Broberg? I think that might have been Broberg. Let's see. Scroll down. We got Sider, Lassie Thompson. Starting to fill in. Okay, so we have, pretty sure it's Broberg. Yeah, so Philip Podkolzin was 10th. Broberg was 8th. So basically, they trade out Philip Broberg for a 2nd-round pick, and they trade for Philip Podkolzin for a 4th-round pick. So, I mean, that's not bad. I mean, it's not bad value, honestly. Yeah, what a wild thing. I mean, I think this is so much fun. I love this. Like, this is like the galaxy brain of GMing. Like, this is the fun stuff. Like, I love going through this. And if it sounds confusing, it totally is. But it's a ton of fun, because you're like, what are they doing? Who are they picking? Why did they pick that? How did they pick this guy? How did they trade him? You know, like, it's so much fun. And I love breaking it all down, because this is what makes it like a ton of fun. I mean, it just makes it more fun. And I'm all about this. If you're not, like, I would love to know what are you interested? Because I'd love to know it, because I'm trying to do content, and I enjoy it. Like I said, I enjoy these. They're a ton of fun. So and we are going to go into the next part. We saw a trade for Rutger McGroarty, who, by the way, requested a trade from the Winnipeg Jets, and there's talks to him potentially want to trade, and they're like, oh, no, you got like Jets are like, no, you got to put on the you got to put on the jersey. You're gonna feel differently and everything. It's like, no, I don't think you are, buddy. And they didn't, and he didn't feel any different. But he decided, he's like, I really want to trade. I want to get out of here. And Jets are kind of like, oh crap, like we can't put him in our lineup because we don't want him yet. We don't think he's ready. We can't guarantee him NHL time. But so they're like, okay, who ends up calling? Who does he call? He calls Kyle Dubas. So Rutger McGroarty is traded to the Pittsburgh Penguins to the Winnipeg Jets. Oh my goodness. Penguins pick up Rutger McGroarty. Jets get Braden Yager. By the way, crazy enough, Rutger, for a 2023 14th overall pick. Braden Yager, a 2024 14th round pick. Honestly, like, you're just getting a guy, or other way around, sorry, 2022 was Rutger McGroarty. 2023 was Braden Yager. Yes, that makes sense. Okay, so it's still they're a year apart. You get a little bit younger player. And when you're looking at some of these players and what they did, you're looking at Braden Yager. Back in the Memorial Cup, 6 points in 4 games. You're seeing WHL 95 points, 57 games. I mean, a very, very talented player, 78 points in 67 games with the Moose Jaw in 2022, 2023, 21, 22, still 59 points in 63 games with the Moose Jaw. I mean, he's putting up a ton of points. I mean, it's honestly, it's very impressive. And if we go to Rutger McGroarty, go to his stats down here. You got in the NCAA, by the way, different league, right? So you're playing against guys who are a little older. 52 points in 36 games at the University of Michigan. In his freshman year with University of Michigan, 39 points, 39 games. Still phenomenal. US NTDB, 69 points, 54 games. I mean, juniors, again, playing 33 and 25. I mean, the guy they can both perform, which is why you end up seeing a 1-for-1 player. I've heard Braden Yager is probably a little bit higher upside, I think, is what I've heard. I don't know enough. I don't follow enough juniors in these draft picks yet, because I just don't have enough time to be able to follow these guys as well. But either way, you're getting a 1-for-1 trade, and it's better. This is better for the Jets, who are looking to be in the playoffs and contend right now. They're like, listen, let's develop this young guy. Let's let him take his time. And now they have Braden Yager that he can develop. He can go to WHL. He can go to the AHL. At least, and they got a little bit younger in the prospect pool, so it allows them to kind of just they have the team that they want right now, and they can let this guy stew and develop. With Rucker McGroarty, Penguins are trying to be good like now. They're trying to make the playoffs now because they're trying to keep Sidney Crosby, they're trying to keep Evgeny Malkin, they're trying to keep Chris Tang. I mean, and they have Erik Karlsson. So they have these big freaking contracts. And now they have this young guy, Rucker McGroarty, who they can now take and, push him into the lineup, hopefully, right? And that would be a huge benefit for him. I mean, just be a huge benefit. So I think it's going to be a really bit it's going to be really good for Rucker. It's going to be really good for it's going to be good for Braden. And I think it ends up being a win-win. Unfortunately, it's how it happened is kind of the bummer, but it is what it is. So you kind of have to kind of go with it. So that's the bummer. It's a bummer. It's a bummer, but no worries. So we're going to take a quick break, do a quick ad read, 2 ad reads for DraftKings and BetterHelp. By the way, we are working with the Hockey Podcast Network, so get excited. And we'll do a quick ad read, and we'll jump back into the Askorov trade. By the way, spoiler alert, Nashville traded him to San Jose. And I'm curious on what your thoughts are. So let's jump back in about a couple minutes. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. You feel like your schedule is packed. I mean, summer is crazy, right? You're kind of just going. I know for me, I want to optimize the sunshine. I want to enjoy it. That's why we're recording at night, because there's things I want to do. I want to enjoy the sunlight. I want to get a little tan. You can tell I'm very red from the sunburn from this weekend on the camera, but just to me, I recognize that I'm focusing on my physical health because I want to be outside, I want to be active. But really, when you stop and you're sitting in these dark moments, sitting in a dark room like I am, and your thoughts start going, you're like, man, I think you can get down on yourself, you can talk negative yourself, and really you just need to take a second and realize that you need to make time for your mental health, because when even though things like this are tough, having to have hard discussions with therapists, it makes you feel so much better. And think about how often you talk to your buddies or something like that. They can only help so much because they only have so much perspective, usually coming from the same area as you. But again, with therapy, you can do it, or with BetterHelp, you can do it entirely online, right? So if you're looking looking to try and just better your life, trying to get some different perspective. Again, it doesn't need to be a crisis. Crisis can be a maintenance thing, right? Just touching base on a monthly basis or something like that. I've done therapy. I've done couples. I've done therapy for myself, right? For crisis, for maintenance. It just helps because it helps. And honestly, if you're thinking about doing better, starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online and designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Never skip therapy day with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/THPN today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/THPN. The beautiful thing about being a sports fan, there's only 2 days the whole year without a game. Honestly, 2. With so much happening, so much action, there just makes that just makes about every day game day at DraftKings Sportsbook. It's easy for first timers to get started. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bet. It's really, really easy. It can't be any simpler. And now, if you're new to DraftKings, you got to check this out. New customers bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftBook Sportsbook app now and use the code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, or in West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boo Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas City. 21 plus. Age varies by jurisdiction. Bonus bets expire 186 hours after issuance. Deposit and eligibility restrictions apply. See terms and responsible gaming resources at dkng.com/jacko/base. All right, we are back. And so we are going over the Yaroslav Askarov trade. You can see right here. I got it on the video, but if you have not, you're on audio. Let's break it down. San Jose Sharks acquire Yaroslav Askorov and Nolan Burke, as well as a 2025 third-round pick. And Nashville receives Magnus Krona, David Edstrom, and a 2025 first-round pick. Now there is some stipulation on that first-round picks, but let's go over the I would say the winner. Let's go with the winner because, in my opinion, he's the winner. They are the winner because Mike Grier got the #1 goalie prospect. And I mean, like, well, you got the #1 goalie prospect. Like what do you like? You got him. Like, you got the best guy. Like, I don't know what more needs to be said. He's the best guy. So, I mean, so Yaroslav Askarov, going over his numbers. He only had 2 games in the NHL last year. Didn't do a ton there, which is fine because he's only had 3 games total. 2 games last year at a 1.47 goals against average, phenomenal. 0.943 save percentage, phenomenal. And with the Milwaukee Admirals, 2 years ago in 22-23, 48 games, he had 48 games. He had a 2.69 goals against and a 0.911 save percentage. And then with this past year, 44 games played. I mean, still playing a ton of games. 2.39 goals against average, actually improved, and the same save percentage at 0.91. So that means he saved more. So that's awesome. That means he had a little bit better defense too, because he had less goals against. So, I mean, played well. I mean, he played very, very well. His first game in the with the Nashville, he let 4.15 goals against in one game. How do you do that? Guys? So, but anyways, to me, I mean that's a sick trade for San Jose, and I'm saying that because I'm also a San Jose fan. So I'm biased. I'll be honest, I'm biased a little bit. So, but I think this is phenomenal for the Sharks. They also end up signing Yaroslav Askarov to a 2-year deal at $2 million. 2 years, $2 million right away. And the thing is that he was not. So Yaroslav Askarov requested a trade. They guess there were some conversations with Barry Trotz, and with Nashville, and he was like, "Listen, I'm not playing for the AHL again. I just saw you sign, and I get it, Askarov." And let's break it. Should we break down the trade first? I think we should break down the trade first. Okay, let's break down the trade. So let's finish it up. Okay, Yaroslav Askarov, Nolan Burke. He played in the ECHL last year. Played okay. I mean, if let's go to his page real quick. He played in the AHL 1 year. He's 21 years old, 15 points in 47 games with the ECHL. Probably an ECHL, AHL kind of guy, more of a throw-in. But in his 5th year, by the way, fourth year in the OHL, he did have 59 points in 64 games. Is he a defenseman or is he a forward? I think he's a center. He's a center. I mean, he's an older player in the OHL, so he's kind of just bodying 18-year-olds, young kids. So that's fine. I mean, but he's a throw-in, so it's not a bad thing. It's just kind of the extra guy to throw in there. And then again, San Jose getting a 3rd-round pick, which was back when the Nashville Predators had from the Avs trade with Jakub Trenin. Now the other thing's going across. So, you trade a goalie, you get a goalie. Getting Magnus Krona, who played in the NHL last year. He was, I think it was a 5th round. No, it wasn't a 5th round pick. A 5th round pick by the Tampa Bay Lightning. Wow, impressive. Last year played 9 games at a 4.71 goals against average and a 0.859 save percentage. Wowzers. I mean, that's just tough. And I think he played mostly in the EC. Oh my God. So he played in the AHL, then went to the NHL, and then went all the way down to the ECHL. I mean, he played well in the ECHL with a 0.94 save percentage, but 2.94 goals against. And it's only 2 games. In the AHL, he didn't play as well either. So, I mean, they're just moving off of this guy. I played well with Denver, though. So, in the 2022-23 season, I think they might have won one of these seasons, too. So, I mean, he's shown that he can play well in the NCAA, but we need to see more. We just plain and simple need to see more. But again, you trade a goalie, you get a goalie back, and then going over to again trading out Nolan Burke or getting Nolan Burke, but trading out David Edstrom, who by the way, who was a 1st-round pick. So that is definitely a benefit. You're getting David Edstrom. Mind you, this is the 2nd time this guy by the way drafted drafted last pick in the first round by Vegas in 2023 because they happened to I don't know, win the cup. They pick up this guy in 2023 and they trade him to the San Jose Sharks for Tomas Hertl with a first round pick going across everything. So this guy in Frölunda, 19 points in 44 games last year. 8 points in the international for Sweden. He played got 8 points in 16 games, basically a half point per game kind of player, half a point a player kind of guy. He's developing fine. He just takes longer to develop. I mean, he's a former first round pick, so you mad about that? As well as Nashville is picking up the actual first round pick from the Vegas Golden Knights. Now there is a condition on this first round pick that is very important. It is if the Vegas Golden Knights pick is top 10, San Jose will have the choice to send their own first round pick or Vegas's, right? Depending on which one it is. So if let's say San Jose gets the eighth overall pick and Vegas is, let's say, 10th, they can be like, well, we're going to give you Vegas's, right? But let's say San Jose's is 12th and Vegas's is 10th, which again, no one imagines that Vegas is going to be like bottom 10 in the league, but it's just more of like just in case. Let's say Sharks you get a 12th pick and Vegas is 10. Well, now San Jose has the option to pick Vegas' pick because it's two picks closer. So, or 2 picks higher in the draft. So it's just more of like giving San Jose some insurance that they're not going to get screwed and they get the highest pick, the better pick in the draft that they can. Right. So, and again, mind you, it's just still sending out a first round pick. This is a huge risk for San Jose as well, because you're sending out a first round pick, a first round picked player, for a goalie who's unproven, and goalies are weird. This is a high risk thing. So, which is why, like, he's 22. He could be the goalie of the future. He could be nobody, though. I mean, he's played well. He's seen as the number 1 goalie prospect in the system. He's beaten out Sebastian Cossa. I mean, he's Dustin Wolf, maybe still considered prospect. But like, I know like Trey Augustine, big fan of him. I mean, there's a lot of goalies that he's beating out, but Askorov is seen as the number 1 goalie prospect. So you have to consider that, like, again, you're high risk, high reward, though, right? This could be your next Andrei Vasilevsky kind of type guy. I mean, and mind you, I'm just saying, and I'm not only just saying that because he's, Russian. Let's see, how tall is this guy? Let's see how big he is, because I'm really curious on this. But again, it's a high risk. You don't know what you're going to get with goalies. He's 6'4", so not as big as Vasilevsky, I don't think. So, but still, 22 years old. Now, mind you, he said he would play in the HL for the San Jose. He's got his contract now, so he's kind of making some money a little bit. But San Jose has Mackenzie Blackwood. They have Vitek Vanacek as well. But let's say Askarov like beats him out. Like, well, then they'll just waive one of the other guys, or they ride through goalies. Like, it's an option. Like, you have a lot of flexibility, especially if now that like Askarov is feeling desired. And the reason he was not feeling desired is because Nashville drafted him. He was 11th overall. I mean, it was super 11th overall in 2020. Then Barry Trotz goes out and signs respectfully. I totally understand why Barry Trotz did this. He could have got so much value for UC Saros, but he says, you know what? I'm not going to bet on the guy that I didn't draft. He has no loyalty to him towards Askarov. I don't know what he's going to turn out to be. I know I have a guaranteed top, I would say 5 minimum. Like, at the lowest, Saros is a top 7 goalie in the league, right? I mean, who you got? Vasilevsky getting off year. You have like Shesterkin, Demko, Saros. I mean, Sorokin, Bob Bobrovsky. You know what I mean? Like, you're like he's like right in that mix. So you're gonna get the proven commodity. You know he's good. And like, you got this goalie who want to request trade. Bye, buddy. But I'm surprised they just took it for this. And it is interesting because it is within conference. So this must, I don't know what the other draft, like who else was doing. I know Montreal, or rumors say, pardon me. The rumors say that Montreal was reaching out for him, reaching out for Askorov. They wanted to trade for him, which would have been smart to give it, any other division or any other conference, so you don't have to worry about him later, because of San Jose and then meeting Nashville meet in the conference finals. That could be bad. So, but I know also, or rumors say that Colorado also were trying to get him as well. But again, we're seeing a huge trade. I mean, it's a fun trade. I mean, I love it, man. I just love fun trades, man. It's just like, like fun stuff. So, moving on to the next couple. Listen real quick. We have a Cole Sillinger signs a 2-year contract. At $2.25 million per year. This past year, 77 games, 32 points. Played well, but not. I mean, he's okay. Mind you, this is a good bridge deal. Let him prove himself. Find out what he's worth. He's a 12th overall draft pick. Again, played well on a bad team. So you want to see what this kid's got. Give him 2 years, and then you can sign him to a long-term contract if you want to keep him, or whatever you want to do. I think it's easy, smart, very smart by the Columbus Blue Jackets as well. Moving on, lastly, Mr. Matty Beniers is putting up one of the franchise, probably honestly one of the next captains, probably the next captain of the Seattle Kraken, putting up in a 2020, he was drafted in 2021, 77 points, 37. Oh my God, 37 points in 77 games. That's the same as like Cole Sillinger. 32 points, 77 games, 0.42 points per game, 0.48. So very similar. Wow, so interesting. So this is a betting on Matty Beniers being a phenomenal player, which he is a good player. Is he a phenomenal player? I'm unsure. So in the NHL, he's played not a ton of games, but in 22-23, he had 57 points in 80 games. Definitely a down year this past year, 37 points in 77 games. And Kraken were not as good as they were last year. Didn't make the playoffs the year prior. They did make the playoffs. I wonder what he did in the playoffs. I'm curious. Let's see. Let's show some playoffs too as well. Where are the playoffs going? 2024. Playoffs. 14 games, 7 points in 14 games. Again, first time being in the NHL playoffs. Half point per game. Not terrible. Not great. Not amazing. Again, you want to see a little more. They did take Colorado 7 and Dallas 7, but I mean, a good high bet. Again, basically $50 million for 7 years. Take some UFA. I like this. I mean, it's a bet. So mind you, like Seattle doesn't have much going for them in the first place. They have like Shane Wright, maybe a guy, but not a 4th overall player. You have Matty Beniers and who else? I mean, I'm not super familiar. I mean, they didn't do much. I mean, who do they have? Let's go to a full roster breakdown over here. Matty Beniers, they just signed Chandler Stevenson that massive contract, which I think is crazy to me. Burakovsky, I mean, Jared McCann's good. Everybody's good. I mean, these are kind of older guys. Shane Wright, maybe, like I said, maybe he works out. Ty Cartier maybe works out. You just signed Brandon Montour to that massive contract as well. Dude, I forgot about that. Yeah, it's really Riker Evan. Did you sign Josh Mahura? I don't know. Like, you don't got much. Dude, Philip Grubauer for another this year and 2 years after. Like, I don't know what Seattle's doing. Maybe Joey Decore is your savior. Maybe. But again, you're betting on Matty Beniers. You're buying early so that you're just buying a little early on this kid, which is good. But like, I hope it works out for Matty Beniers. He seems like a really good dude. He seems like super smiley. I really liked him. He played for U of M. I'm not my home state, and so I hope it works out for him. But I guess we'll see. But anyways, so this is the Undrafted Hockey Fan episode. So let me know what your thoughts are. I mean, just kind of a breakdown on news. We're going to be doing breakdowns of all the rest of the NHL teams. I've done, if you check out my YouTube channel, we've done San Jose, we've done Detroit Red Wings, we've done Toronto, we've done Boston, And I think that's it so far. But again, we're trying to use a new platform. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. I just made this today. Kind of playing with the colors. I kind of a little fun, a little bit wild. But let me know what your thoughts are. Appreciate it. Love you. Catch you soon. And hit like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. And if you listen on Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, all that stuff, just hit a like, hit a share, hit a whatever. It helps a ton for me, especially at the Hockey Podcast Network as well. Helps out a ton and really breaches out their brand. And make sure to check out BetterHelp and DraftKings if you're looking to those things appeal to you. So anyways, love you guys. Catch you in the next one. Bye.